and welcome back to another installment of In the Mix. My name is Morgan, and today we're going to be talking about what could quite possibly be one of the most well-known and iconic cocktails of all time, so much so that it has its own meal period dedicated to it. And who is she, you might ask? And I will tell you that she is the Bloody Mary. It is synonymous with brunch. It is a certified hangover cure, and it's kind of like the Pimp My Ride of cocktails, if you will. And I say that because there's an endless combination of things you can do to make a Bloody Mary. There is no one right way to do this, and it is completely catered to your taste and what you like. And it's one of those things that you probably have all of the ingredients already in your pantry. If not, just add them onto your weekly Instacart order and you'll be good to go. Tomato juice, a heat element, and a savory spice element, then you're gonna be on the right path to success here. There are a few things to note with this. The first thing being, and I think one of the most important things, is add your ingredients slowly and a little at a time. And make sure as well as you're adding these ingredients that you're tasting each and every time. Because nothing ruins your hashtag brunch goals more than a subpar showing from our girl Mary herself. So just do it slow and you're gonna be all set to go. Another thing about this is that the recipe that I'm going to show you is a large batch that makes 10 cocktails. And I like to do this because these ingredients, although they're ready to go right when you're finished and the water's fine, you can jump right in. I like to let them sit overnight and really get to know each other a little bit more, because like fine wine and myself, this kind of recipe only gets better with age. And as far as spirits go, you can do whatever you want. Vodka is obviously the original and the standard choice, but don't be afraid to use tequila and make this a Bloody Maria, or use some gin and make it a red snapper. Use bourbon, use mezcal, use whatever you have in your pantry, and it's probably going to pair really well with what you come up with. So, without further ado, let's learn how to make the Bloody Mary. So when it comes to making a Bloody Mary, you don't need a lot of tools. You're going to need yourself a pitcher or a bowl of some sort to hold all of these ingredients. You're going to need tomato juice, the most important ingredient. I'm using the Sacramento brand here, but there's no issue with whatever you have in your home. You're also going to need some Worcester sauce. Worcester sauce. Say that 5 times fast. Or don't, I don't care. And you're also going to need some black pepper, some white pepper, some hot sauce. Of course, I'm using Tabasco today, but that's another ingredient that you can use whatever you have in your pantry. You can also use a combo of things. I'm going to do that today, where I have the original and I also have some Chipotle version. You can also get a little crazy and use some, some Verde style. This would go really well with tequila. Totally up to you. Some other ingredients that I have in front of me today are some Old Bay, some soy sauce, some molasses, and another really important ingredient, some celery salt. So the first thing you're going to do is add your tomato juice into your pitcher, which I have already done. And then you're going to start adding your ingredients. So the first thing you're going to do is add some Worcester sauce. And I have all my ingredients already measured out in front of me. I'm gonna add 2 ounces of Worcester sauce into our container. And then I'm going to add a little bit of horseradish. This is a completely optional item. I'm just gonna do a bit of a pinch of this. This is one of those ingredients that you wanna, add little at a time, because if you put too much horseradish in, it kind of just ruins the whole thing. So nice and easy. I'm just gonna pinch out a little bit and I'm gonna add that in. And at this point, I'm going to stir this up and kind of give it a taste, make sure that I haven't overdone anything. So we're tasting pretty good so far. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my hot sauces. So I'm going to do about 1 ounce of the Tabasco, the original Tabasco, and then I'm going to do a 1/2 ounce of the Chipotle Tabasco. Then I'm going to add some celery salt. I'm going to do about 1 teaspoon of the celery salt here. And this is another one, you don't want it to be too salty, you don't want it to be, overwhelming. So just add that in little by little and mix it up and take a taste. After that, I'm going to take some freshly ground black pepper and I'm going to do 1 1/4 teaspoon of this. And of course, I'm mixing up again. I'm going to taste again. And we're on the right path here. The next thing I'm going to do is a completely optional item. I'm going to add a little bit of molasses to mine. This adds a nice depth of flavor. I'm going to do, I'd say about 1 tablespoon of this. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some white pepper. This is some ground white pepper, and I'm going to do about 3/4 teaspoons of this. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do about a 1/2 ounce of soy sauce. I'm going to add that in. Next, another kind of a fun ingredient, totally optional as well, is I'm going to take some Old Bay seasoning. You could also use some smoked paprika, you can use some chipotle powder, whatever you want, or you can kind of completely mix this as well. I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon of this, and I'm gonna pinch that in. And you can also add, some other elements such as sriracha to make it a little bit spicier. I like mine on the spicier side, but it's totally up to you. And once I have all of these ingredients in, I'm going to mix it up a little bit more and see if there's any lack of flavoring here or if I need to add anything. I'm loving where I'm at, but I also think I need a little bit more of a citrus element to this. So I'm gonna take some fresh squeezed lemon juice, and I'm literally just gonna do a couple drops of this. I'm not gonna do an overwhelming amount. I'm gonna add that in, mix it all up, and see where we're at. And I think we are ready to start building a cocktail here. So like I said, this mix will give you about 10 cocktails worth, but we're gonna make 1 cocktail today. So as far as making your cocktail, you're just gonna need a tin of some sort, and you are going to also need some ice. But instead of shaking our cocktails like we would typically do with juice cocktails, we are going to roll this today, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take an ice cube, and I'm going to put that into the larger part of my. I'm going to take about 5 ounces of my mixture. I'm gonna eyeball it, and I'm gonna put 5 ounces in. Then I'm going to take my spirit, and I'm going to be using vodka, just the good old-fashioned way. This is Asbury Park Distilling vodka. My version here would also really go well with mezcal because of the smokiness of the chipotle, but we're gonna do the classic version. I'm gonna do 2 ounces of that. Throw that into my shaker, and then we're gonna get it rolling. Start in my big container, and I'm just going to slowly and gently, so I don't get it on my white shirt, roll these back and forth. Only about 2 or 3 times. We're just letting the ingredients really get to know each other. And we don't want to overly water this down because a watery Bloody Mary is kind of gross. Then we're just going to pour this into our glass. I'm going to be using a rocks glass just because I want to, but you can use this in a tall glass like it traditionally is, whatever you'd like. So we're going to take the whole mixture and we're going to pour it right into the glass. I like to use a large cube as well too, because it doesn't water down the drink as quickly. As far as garnishes go, you can go as simple and as crazy as you want. Some people like to put whole fried chickens and chicken wings and lobster tails and jumbo shrimp on theirs. I'm gonna keep it simple, and I'm just going to use a good old classic celery stalk. I'm also going to take some freshly ground black pepper just to finish this off. You can also use, a lemon and a lime wedge with some olives, but you can completely change it up in whatever you have, whatever you'd like. It's totally up to you. And then there you have a at home with whatever you have in your pantry or by following this recipe, Bloody Mary. So let's give her a taste as always. And she tastes good. Absolutely delicious. So I hope you enjoyed making this with me, and I hope you give it a try at home. And until next time, cheers. Ooh, it's brunch time.